For good money again, before we take complete orders and ends of government.
Yo! Okay, today is October 4th, 2022, and welcome to Simply Bitcoin. I got to start the show because Nico's internet's having a little trouble, and I got the pretty face. So, we are your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. We cover the breaking news, culture, and mimetic warfare. And we will show you why only Bitcoin can give you true financial sovereignty. And by that, we mean freedom. This is why we do it. Bitcoin is freedom. Anyways, Nico, let's get into this, dude. You're making me nervous now.
Anyways, Opti's first introduction, absolutely amazing. Guys, this has been a crazy couple of weeks. Went from Puerto Rico to Miami, Nashville, Miami, now Miami, Austin. And then Austin, Miami, New York, Miami, LA, Miami, Colorado. That's the rest of my year. It's going to be absolutely crazy. I'm going to be traveling all over the place. Hopefully I have good internet when I go, but when I don't, Opti is going to be doing the introductions. Anyways, today we have a lot of spicy things to talk about. Obviously, the inevitable was going to happen. People are seeking alternatives to fiat currencies. Articles are being released. And again, coincidentally, at the same time, both European officials and White House officials are suggesting that, of course, we should step up regulation on cryptocurrencies because, safety and all that stuff. It has nothing to do with the fact that people are choosing an alternative. Of course not. We would never say that. Anyways, Opti, what do we have for the culture today, my brother?
Well, for the culture today, Nico, I saw this article on Bitcoin Mag. It's by Will. I will butcher your name during the culture, but it's titled "Should Bitcoiners Trade Bitcoin to Get More Bitcoin?" Or I probably butchered that, but yeah, we're gonna get into it. I break down the article and then have a little conversation about it and what we think about it and what our friends think about it and give people the sauce. So
give people the sauce. But yeah, dude, I'm super excited for today's episode. I'm super excited for the rest of the week, bro. The mining conference is gonna be live streaming from the floor. We're gonna try to get as many guests as possible. I also have a Simply Bitcoin IRL episode coming tomorrow, which I know a lot of you guys are gonna enjoy. It's with Greg Foss, and we're gonna talk about the current clown world right now. It's gonna be interesting to get his takes. But anyways, Opti, let's start the show. Number time. Brought to you by NODL. At this point, you should be running your own Bitcoin node. If you don't use your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. And if you're a digital nomad, you have absolutely no excuse because now you can run a NODL through a virtual private server. Visit nodl.eu today. All right, guys, at the time of recording, the Bitcoin price, oh, look at that, 20,010 sats per dollar, 4,998, also under 5,000. Very good. Moscow time. Block height, 757,052. Reachable Bitcoin nodes, 14,841. Blocks of the halving, 82,948. Halving estimates April 22nd, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity, 4,977 Bitcoin. Capacity value, it's around 99 million US dollars. Realized monetary inflation. The reason we cover that, and it doesn't really change much, is just to highlight how much Bitcoin is destroying all fiat currencies, right? And that number is just going to be continued to get cut in half roughly every 4 years. So I'm going to keep rubbing it in their face. It's great. Market capitalization, $383 billion. Anyways, I want to give a shout.
Nico, before you go in, Lightning Network is above 5,000. I'm over here on Emboss.space, and we are at 5,024.21 BTC. I guess the Clark Moody dashboard is lagging a little bit, but all the news around Twitter is Lightning capacity above 5,000 Bitcoin. So that number goes up.
That deserves an I Love Corn soundboard.
Oh, hold on. I wasn't prepared for that one, Nico, but oops, wrong one. Oh, wrong one.
I love
There we go. There we go. Anyways, guys, I have a very special video to show with you guys. We're going to react to it. Shout out to the crypto couple because they originally posted this. This is a European politician saying the quiet part out loud to European Parliament. They all made fun of him. They all laughed at him. Who's laughing now? Let's check it out.
Not really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal and it's been going on for too long. To add to that problem, you have moral hazard, a very significant moral hazard from the political sphere. And most of the problem starts in politics and central banks, which are part of the same political system. We have counterfeiting, sometimes called quantitative easing, but counterfeiting by any other name. The artificial printing of money, which if any ordinary person did, they'd go to prison for a very long time. And yet governments and central banks do it all the time. Central banks repress the amount of interest that rates are, so we don't have the real cost of money. The sheer effrontery of this is quite astonishing. It's central banks. It's central banks that manipulate interest rates, Commissioner. And plus, underneath all this, we talk loosely, in a rather cavalier fashion, do we not, about deposit guarantees. So when banks go broke through their own incompetence and chicanery, the taxpayer picks up the tab. It's theft from the taxpayer. And until we start sending bankers, and I include central bankers and politicians, to prison for this outrage, it will continue.
So shout out to the crypto couple. Absolutely slaying the game, absolutely slaying the narrative trench warfare, the battlegrounds on the internet with memes, the most effective weapons, I might add. So first, shout out to them. Second, he quickly got suicided 2 days later. That's unfortunate. I'm just totally messing with you. But yeah, man, look, saying the quiet plowed out loud to, European Parliament, they laughed at him. If you saw the full video, they laughed at him. They didn't believe him. It was only 5-10 years later that we're witnessing this. We're witnessing the craziness, whether it's printing more money, even though the Germany has 10% inflation, even though UK has 10% inflation. Right now, we have the United Nations on their knees asking the Federal Reserve to turn on the money printer again. Like it is absurd. Let's end central banking. But what I think his name was Joffrey, what Mr. Joffrey, Sir Joffrey, didn't realize is, look, you were never going to be able to put these politicians and central bankers in jail, right? They collude, right? Politicians benefit from being able to have the money printer. And of course, the central bankers benefit from the regulatory moat that obviously, the politicians build around them. So it's like a mutually beneficial relationship. The book, Creature from Jekyll Island, touches upon this and explores that topic a lot more. I definitely recommend reading it. But yeah, man, it's dude, I'm glad he said the quiet part out loud. I hope more politicians wake up to this reality. I suspect, and I'm calling this right now, and it wasn't only me saying this, NBK said this on the show, as more and more politicians get incentivized by Bitcoin, they're going to start calling out the scam of central banking on its face, and you're going to start to hear it. You're going to start to hear it more and more and more and more. And that's just not me speculating that. You heard the newly elected leader of the Conservative Party in Canada that has a chance to win the next premier, the equivalent of a presidential election over there, prime minister, whatever. He has a chance of winning that election in Canada, and he's super based, and he's saying exactly the things that Joffrey was saying, right? It's like, look, inflation is not caused by businesses. It's not caused by Putin. It's not caused by the war. It's caused by government printing too much money. The problem, the issue here is central banking itself. Satoshi said it. It came from his own words. The problem with central banking is that you have to trust the central bank not to debase the currency. And history shows they've broken that trust time and time again. But the reason nothing gets done, as Joffrey so beautifully put, is that, dude, it's a mutually beneficial relationship. Politicians benefit from it and central banks benefit from it. So what's the incentive to change? There was no incentive to change until Bitcoin. Now there is. That's why they're fighting it. That's why they hate it. And what Nayib Bukele said yesterday, that's why the creatures are coming out of the woodwork and throwing everything and everything to try to attack this thing, whether it's climate, social issues, et cetera, et cetera. They hate this thing because they can't control it, and it's the end to the racket that is central banking. We don't want to get stolen from. We're not going back. Anyways, Opti, what are your thoughts, brother?
Well, first off, starting off strong, a solid Nico Jones rip. Second off, I love that the video from Crypto Couple, hard-hitting video this morning, and just some quotes from that video. You know, quantitative easing is counterfeiting. Central banks are the issue. And then I loved at the very end, for the people that are listening in Spaces, there was a quote on there, or meme basically at the very end. It says, "If you had a chance to opt out, would you? This is why we Bitcoin." And I'm glad you brought up the Bukele article that we covered yesterday, because he was literally saying the same exact thing. And what you said, this video was like 5 or 10 years old or something of that nature. So the signal is getting out there, and more, you know, as much as I am the tinfoil hat wearer over here, more politicians are spreading the signal, and more people are being woken up to the idea that central bankers are the issue, and central planning is the issue here. So, as we say all the time, opt out with Bitcoin, take Bitcoin into self-custody. Self-custody is the revolution. Like, this is what Bitcoin fixes. Like, fix the money, fix the world. All the memes and all the ways that we try to beat this message into your head, we will continue to double down and get more examples from people that are spreading the signal. So absolutely love the video to start off this morning, Nico.
Preach. Saint Opti is preaching. Anyways, I want to go through some of the chat because it's absolutely hilarious. Weinicus, is this live? Yes, it's live, Weinicus.
Is this live?
Weinicus. Oh, Weinicus. He is the best. By the way, if you want to know how decentralized homelessness works, hit up Weinicus on Twitter. He's mastered the art, and he's constantly trying to extract more money out of me. Opti's former relationship with Christine Lagarde. Yes, that's a handle. It says Rome fell. Opti's loving relationship with Chrissy fell. So will central banks. I mean, I saw the way that Opti's been looking at Christine Lagarde. Lagarde.
She looks good. What can I say?
All right, moving on. No, we're not going down that path. All right, let's go to the news.
The Daily News.
Brought to you by Bitbox 2 Bitcoin Only Edition, a hardware wallet by Shift Crypto. Crypto-like cryptography. It's secure, it's open source, and it's so easy your mom can set it up. Self-custody is the revolution, and the Bitbox makes it simple. Do not leave your Bitcoin on an exchange. Order a Bitbox today.
All right, before I get into it, I just want to read this last comment. Opti's former relationship with Christine Lagarde said Chrissy used to call him Saint Opti too.
They all do. All my boos do.
Oh, no. Okay, moving on. I don't know why I did that. Okay. Anyways, guys, we're winning. We're winning. This is what victory tastes like. You feel it. You smell it. Just take a second to smell it in. For our audio listeners, the name of the article, the headline is "Investors Ditch the Euro and Pound for Bitcoin in Record Numbers as Their Value Plummets." I'm going to read that again because it's an incredible headline. Investors ditch the euro and pound for Bitcoin in record numbers as their value plummets. Goes on to say, in the midst of the collapse of multiple fiat currencies worldwide, the cryptocurrency market seems to be going strong. Leading investors to turn their gaze to digital assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum instead. As it happens, investors in the United Kingdom and the European Union are selling their pounds and euros to purchase Bitcoin in record numbers. As these individuals from the UK and the EU see the value of their currency collapsing, they effectively sell the pounds and euro for Bitcoin. Doesn't say Ethereum there in the quote, but anyways, I hate how they do that, man. They link the regulators do this, the media does this. They link Bitcoin and shitcoins. Like it's extremely frustrating. Anyways, if this were just a trade to capture the volatility, we would have seen a similar spike in May 2021 and certainly in May 2020 and March 2020. Did you hear that? That is a very strong piece of signal. what they're saying is that this wasn't just a trade. This wasn't just like, I'm going to buy low, sell high. No, it's opting out. If this were just a trade to capture the volatility, we would have seen similar spikes in May 2021 and certainly in March 2020. And here's the, unfortunately, audio listeners can't see this, but this is a graphic from Masari. And look at that, Opti. Look at that. Holy crap. Investors sell euros and pounds for Bitcoin in record numbers on recent currency devaluations. People are opting out. And of course, they're freaking out. We're going to get, it says, as per the chart, that spans until September 27th. The daily volume of Bitcoin purchase by Euro has reached 50,000 a week between September 22nd and 27th. And the same figure is reported for Bitcoin purchases made in pound sterling. And coincidentally, of course, August 4th, this article comes out. EU's ESMA raises alarm bells over growing crypto use as it prepares for new powers. That's a big coincidence. So let's connect the dots. So we try to do on the show, right? Investors ditched the euro and pound for Bitcoin in record numbers as their value plummets. And coincidentally, EU, ESMA, a government agency, raises alarm bells over growing crypto use as it prepares for new powers. So we must need new powers because people are choosing to opt out into a better currency that doesn't steal from them. It's beautiful how much Bitcoin exposes people's incentives. And if you want to know how scared they are, I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to show you a video from the vampire queen herself, Christine Lagarde, and Opti's ex-girlfriend.
Where do we stand? We central bankers, we have been operating as a monetary anchor in relation to the commercial banks and the private money. If we are not in that game, if we are not involved in experimenting, in innovating in terms of digital central bank money, we risk losing the role of anchor that we have played for many, many decades. And we have historical examples of period where the central bank monetary anchor was not there, and that precipitated crisis after crisis. That certainly was the case at the time of the free banking in the 19th century. Do we want to go back to those days? Probably not. I would say certainly not from our vantage point, as a result of which we have to respond to the demand for those digital payments in order to maintain the role of anchor that we have been playing regularly.
What anchor? What anchor are they talking about? Like the biggest wars and the biggest depressions happened under central banking. So what anchor, right? 10% inflation. Is that the anchor you're talking about? Like what is this anchor? But it's not only the Europeans that are freaking out, right? It's also the United States government. Joe Biden's this is a headline for audio listeners from the Financial Times. Joe Biden's administration urges Congress to speed up crypto rules. Mind you, this article, this announcement came after the release on the digital asset framework, right? That advertised, right? That promoted central bank digital currencies and attacked Bitcoin because of its energy use, and also wanted the mining industry to adhere to standards that were completely unfeasible that no other industry has to follow as well. Right. Also, in that report, which we covered yesterday, right? Coincidentally, you know, the Tornado Cash developer that was arrested, you know, because he helped the North Koreans. Also, in that report, they mentioned the North Korean example by name. And of course, a paragraph above, which we showed in yesterday's episode, they're advocating for central bank digital currencies because it would give them more control. So clearly, the powers that be, this is the separation of money and state. They're freaking out. They don't know what to do, right? And at the end of the day, this is what I tell you. Bitcoin wins because incentives are stronger than coercions, and governments are not going to be able to do two things, right? They're always going to want to be able to control money, and they're always going to want to be able to debase money because that's how they pay for themselves, right? And because they're going to want to be able to, they're always going to want to be able to do those two things. They will never be able to match Bitcoin's incentives. That's the unfortunate part for them. Anyways, I'm going to read some of this article and we're going to talk about it. It says the Biden administration has called on Congress to pass laws to clarify how cryptocurrencies should be regulated, as officials warn that delays on Capitol Hill could put investors at risk. Mind you, This comes after their release on the digital asset framework about a week ago, right? So they're worried. The U.S. Financial Stability Oversight Council, a group of the country's top financial regulators, including the Treasury, urging politicians to come to an agreement on a number of areas, including how to regulate Bitcoin. You can't regulate Bitcoin, okay? Can't do it. You can regulate the on and off ramps. Of course you can, but you can't change the rules of Bitcoin. It's up to the individual to choose what Bitcoin software they want to run, only if you're running your own node, of course. And other crypto assets sold on the spot market. It's very interesting that they said the spot market, because remember, they've approved the futures market already. And the futures market has been known to cause price suppression, right? Because you're able to trade Bitcoin of which you don't own. A spot market is totally different. Very interesting, right? The SEC approved the futures market, price suppression, but the SEC hasn't approved the spot market. Interesting how that works, right? And why is that? Remember, the number one convincer of Bitcoin, the biggest orange pillar, is NGU technology. And you're seeing that happen here. It's in the headline itself by Finbold. Investors ditch the euro and pound for Bitcoin in record numbers as their value plummets. Why would they stay in a currency that is losing 10% of its value versus a currency like Bitcoin that perhaps might be very volatile on a year basis, but we know if you zoom out on a 3-5 year basis, it is the best savings technology mankind has ever seen. Anyways, it goes on to say the report comes as members debate proposals covering the $140 billion stablecoin industry to tax rules for crypto brokers. But while Biden administration officials worry about a repeat of the collapse of now infamous stablecoin Terra USD, those close to the congressional negotiations said they were still months away from passing legislation. And this is why I got so frustrated in the beginning, where mainstream media, better said legacy media, and regulators get confused. Or it's not that they confuse. In my belief, they do it on purpose, right? They commingle Bitcoin and shitcoins, right? So a shitcoin blows up because of a scam, and what you're doing is that you're giving the regulations, the regulators, ammunition to go after you. Right? This is why I got so heated yesterday when I was talking about Alex Mashinsky pulling out $10 million before the collapse of Celsius, right? Before they froze withdrawals. This is why I get so angry about it, right? It's like, not only do they steal money from people, but they also make the lives of Bitcoiners happy, because regulators, either they do it on purpose or they don't know the difference between Bitcoin and shitcoins. Anyways, it goes on to say, regulatory agencies such as the Securities and Exchange Commission and Commodity Futures Trading Commission have pressed for jurisdiction over the industry. SEC Chair Gary Gensler has argued that most cryptocurrencies and the platforms where they are traded should be regulated by the SEC because many of the tokens qualify as securities under U.S. law. Okay, so a lot of things to unpack here, right? They're definitely going to go after shitcoins, okay? If it's not decentralized, it will inevitably be captured. And I am talking about Ethereum here. We know that the vast majorities, don't take my word for it, go check it yourself. The vast majority of Ethereum nodes are run on servers, of which more than half of those servers are Amazon Web Servers. Amazon also has a very, very profitable contract with the Pentagon. That's right. So the same people that are running Amazon, right? The same people that are running Ethereum on Amazon Web Services also have very profitable contracts with the U.S. government. Who do you think they're going to side with, right? And if you compare that with Bitcoin, right, it's the individuals that are running the nodes, which is why we always advocate for it so strongly. Run your own node, and then you get to pick and choose what Bitcoin you want to run, which is why it's so important. And then the other component, right, is that coincidentally, on the heels of that article, I'm going to read it again because of how important it is. Investors ditch the euro and pound for Bitcoin in record numbers as their value plummets. Coincidentally, that is when you're seeing the strongest push by regulators to, so-called regulate the crypto industry, coincidentally, when inflation is high and people are seeking alternatives. And if you still don't believe me, I'm going to make the case even more that it's malicious, that this regulation has nothing to do about protecting the investor. If that were true, 2009, bankers would have gone to jail, but no banker went to jail. It was Main Street that pulled them out. Again, this is a straw man argument, just like North Korea. It's the same crap. It's the same crap. We have to sanction open source technology because of the North Koreans. We have to regulate the crypto industry because volatility, because the scams, because of this, because of that. It has nothing to do with the fact that people are seeking a better money, a sound money, right? Total coincidence, right? It's a coincidence that this just came out a week later, that the Biden administration is pushing this really hard. It's a coincidence that European regulators are pushing this really hard as well, right? Those are very big coincidences. I don't think they're coincidences. I think these people are petrified. And remember the Christine Lagarde video. Remember Opti's ex-girlfriend. Maybe that's why she's so mad. She's making the case. We need central banking. If we don't need central banking, we're going to return back to the wildcat era. But hey, you know what, Christine Lagarde? The most violent century in human history happened under the watch of central banking. The biggest depressions happened under the watch of central banking. So you got nothing to stand on. And that is why you're upset. And Opti, I have no idea why you dated her, bro.
Yeah, you guys are killing me. The chat is killing me. All right. First off, people opting out of the euro and the pound. It's almost like Bitcoin was meant for this moment. It's almost like Bitcoin signal is spreading that you cannot hold fiat money. It is almost like the Bitcoin signal continues to go to the surface, and people are realizing that you can't debase Bitcoin, and fiat is stealing from you. All that paper money is stealing from you. And again, furthermore, I'm gonna cover this a little bit in the culture, or actually that's my whole culture segment today, about that Bitcoin is not a trade. Like, Bitcoin is savings tech. Quit trading your Bitcoin. And furthermore, as my girl always said, if there's an exit door, then people are going to use it. So they got to stop the exit door. And like the nagging girlfriend she was, central bankers are the monetary anchors keeping us all in chains. And furthermore, we say it all the time, and people say it on Twitter all the time as well, but they will be regulating and try to regulate the on and off ramps. And this is how the high level parasites will try to control Bitcoin. They will try to stop the flow of Bitcoin into fiat currencies. And this is why we are such big advocates of, the quote unquote mythical Bitcoin circular economy. Use your Bitcoin with Bitcoiners, buy the products you want with Bitcoin, opt out of the system, because we already know that this is the attack, guys. Like, they will regulate the on and off ramps. And furthermore, you said the SEC going after shitcoins, and they're not only going after shitcoins themselves, as we saw yesterday. They're going after shitcoiners and shitcoin pumpers.
Kim
famous
K.
ones.
Another
Kim
one
K.
of Opti's girlfriends.
Hey, can you blame me on that one? But we know the game plan, guys, because remember what I covered yesterday on the culture segment and what Bukele's article was. Do not drink the high level parasites Kool-Aid. He named names, and he basically laid the blueprint out completely. So if you forget what is going on, guys, remember to reread that article and understand exactly what we are facing, because the powers that be are not stupid, like Nico has always told us. And furthermore, like he told me, he's always like, do not underestimate your enemies. And they're not stupid. They understand what the game is. They understand that Bitcoin is freedom. They understand that they have to figure out a way to gaslight the normies so that they do not opt out into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is monetary freedom. Like I said on Twitter, like, once enough people are in the Bitcoin economy, once enough people are using Bitcoin, there's a tipping point where they know they can't control everyone. And furthermore, I double down all the time. Like, look, we are in a financial system right now where they have complete control over the system, and they still can't control everyone, let alone when we are in a financial system that has routed around them completely, which is Bitcoin. They are losing completely, and they understand that this is the game. Like we say all the time on the show, Bitcoin is playing for all the marbles, and all these people that are invested in fiat, all these people that have their livelihoods riding on fiat are going to get wrecked. And so it's just simple human psychology. What are you going to do to protect your livelihood? And these people will do everything possible. And we've seen what they are capable of. These people, I hate to say that they're evil, but the people at the top, like I say all the time, the high-level parasites, or as we've been starting to say, the monetary demons out there will do whatever they can to maintain control. So this is, we are in the then they fight you stage, and this is what we need to be aware of and what we need to be able to prepare ourselves for. And this is why we try to do our best to not only give you guys the signal so that you are aware, but also the best tools and the best, behaviors with Bitcoin. I guess that's the best way to say it. So
beautifully said. Beautifully said. All right, guys, I have to catch a flight, so I'm not going to be able to do the rest of the news segment. I'm going to save it for tomorrow. But Opti, let's get to the culture, and hopefully I won't miss this flight.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today. All right, guys, I also want to give a shout out to the largest, the best, the most humblest Bitcoin conference on the West Coast. Definitely check out Pacific Bitcoin, November 10th through the 11th. Guys, you're running out to plan this, right? It's coming up. It's in Los Angeles, California. Speaker list includes the Chad Saylor, Michael Saylor, Jan Pritzker, Alex Epstein, Lynn Alden, Corey Clipston, Jeff Booth, Dylan LeClaire, Robert Breedlove, Eric Cosson, Mark Moss, Parker Lewis, Dr. Jeff Ross, Pete Ruzzo, Troy Cross, Nico, and Opti are going to be doing a live Simply Bitcoin. Greg Foss as well. You're not going to want to miss it, and you can take advantage of the promo code SIMPLY to get a 20% discount on your Pacific Bitcoin tickets. You're not going to want to miss this Bitcoin conference / celebration in Los Angeles, California.
I love it. I love it. Nico's just butchering everyone's names. Anyways, guys, you already know it's the culture. And I saw this article a couple days ago, and I really wanted to cover it. Again, I am going to butcher Will's name. I don't know how to say your last name, bro. Will Shulkop. Apologies first and foremost. Anyways, for you guys in the spaces, this is on Bitcoin Magazine, and the article is titled, "Should Bitcoin Maximalists Trade to Get More Bitcoin? Acquiring Bitcoin by any means necessary is not a moral stance. Trading shitcoins in order to stack more sats does not fit with Bitcoin Maximalists." And I did say on Twitter, I'm going to try to stop saying Bitcoin maximalist. So I say Bitcoiner, know that I mean Bitcoin maximalist. Anyways, when it comes to stacking sats, the ends do not justify the means. It seems to me that some so-called Bitcoiners think it's okay to be Bitcoin maximalish or to be almost a Bitcoiner. As a Bitcoiner who believes in freedom, who am I to judge? Still, anyone who is almost but not quite a Bitcoiner ought to pause and reflect on if they really think their path from fiat to Bitcoin is furthering a world with hyper-Bitcoinization if it is done by any means necessary. And first and foremost, author's note, we're not here to attack anyone personally. I say that all the time. We try to make examples of people, and there is a few people, like shouts out to Dylan. I love you, bro, but you're in this article. Apologies, but we're going to make a point out of this. So, guys, we say this all the time. We try to do what's best, not only for ourselves, but for the noobs out there and the people that are just getting into Bitcoin. And we say it all the time. Shitcoins do not have a fundamental use, and it is literally greater fool theory. And so when people lump, like Nico said in the news, when people lump Bitcoin and shitcoin together, it really does not only make us all look bad, but they're mixing up a lot of stuff going in there. And that's why we do what we do, to try to separate what's the meme, the wheat from the chaff. Anyways, the bad ideas are trading altcoins to buy more Bitcoin, removing laser eyes to expand focus elsewhere. Nico, need them laser eyes again. Anyways, removing laser eyes due to an overemphasized focus on BTC and USD price. So to be a Bitcoiner, you don't have to have you don't have to store a huge percent of your net worth. You don't have to be completely all in. You might need some fiat to pay your rent, but for the almost Bitcoiners, they'll say that the vast majority of their shitcoin holdings are in Bitcoin, or their crypto holdings are in Bitcoin, or their fiat net worth is mainly in Bitcoin, but this is not what we like to call being a Bitcoiner. This is diversification in a shitcoin portfolio. So if you truly believe that ultimately only one tool can serve as money for the world, then the only one worth holding is Bitcoiner. Moreover, if you admit to others that you are privately dabbling in shitcoins, then you're sending mixed messages. To be a toxic Bitcoiner, you cannot ignore your own advice and buy altcoins as well. guys, this is a simple economic treatise or law, in my opinion, that the best money will win. Yes, on a long enough time frame, everything is going into Bitcoin, and on a short-term time frame, there will be fiat currencies and there will be shit coins because people play stupid games and want to win stupid prizes. But if you proclaim yourself to be a Bitcoiner, have some respect for yourself and take a moral stance. And I know first and foremost, people are going to say, hey, look, you can trade Bitcoin. I'm a trader. I am just trading. But look, if we really believe in Bitcoin the way that we do, and this is the revolution of monetary freedom, then I think on a personal level, at least I've taken this upon myself, that I say it all the time, be a shining example of what it is to be a Bitcoiner. And we show receipts all the time on this show about the fiat world incentivizing you guys into bad behavior, and Bitcoin fixes this. And so as a Bitcoiner, if you know that you are trading hot garbage and dumping it on retail's head, then you should really look at yourself in the mirror and understand what you're doing, because you are just literally recreating what these fiaters are doing in the legacy system on Bitcoin, and you're not helping anyone. We say it all the time. The shitcoiners make us all look bad, and as we've been covering the last couple of weeks of all these shitcoiners getting wrecked, you're not helping us in the long run. Like, we have a big battle going on, and the legacy media is doing anything they can to paint us all as criminals, paint us all as immoral, paint us all as people with low ethics. And I personally think that as a Bitcoiner, we need to be a shining example of being a better person and living a better life. And this is what Bitcoin has allowed for me and what I think it can do for society at large. So while you may say you trade alt so that you can stack more sats, it hurts the suckers on the other side of the trade giving up their Bitcoin for this shitcoin. You're giving venture capitalists a run. These shitcoiners want exit liquidity. So toxic Bitcoiners do not give a false impression that shitcoins have sufficient on-chain activity, have many active participants, or are used for transactions. They do not give ICO-funded venture capitalists the satisfaction of dumping their liquidity on unsuspecting users without a goal or purpose. Instead of wasting their time on TA looking at charts for other shitcoins, toxic Bitcoiners further hyper-Bitcoinization. And this is why we do this show all the time, because I can just think of myself, man. If only I stayed humble and stacked sats in the beginning, I would have more Bitcoin now. But I got caught up in all the greed. You come into the crypto space and you start seeing everything pump, and you're like, oh my God, the grass is greener on the other side. And you don't understand that there's inside groups trading these shitcoins. There's people with market signals and pump and dump groups, and they're just dumping on your head. The game is rigged against you, just like the fiat system. So to protect people, this is why we come here every single day, and this is why we're so savage on Bitcoin, because people don't know what is going on behind the scenes, and they are getting their life savings wrecked because of my free market capitalism. I can trade shitcoins and it's okay, and I can be a shady individual because it's a free market. It's like, no. Bitcoin is the way, and if you understand that Bitcoin is the way, you got to stop dumping on people. Hey, if you can make a money being a trader, by all means, like, trading is a profession that is needed. But if you're just out here scamming retail for more Bitcoin, like, look, I'm also a libertarian at heart. I may not be that political, but I believe people should look at themselves and act accordingly to what they believe in. But hey, if you're dumping on unsuspecting retail, like, you really need to look in the mirror and be a better example of what it means to be a Bitcoiner, because shitcoiners are making us all look bad. Anyways, the whole point of Bitcoiner or Bitcoin maximalism is you do not change your mind because you recognize Bitcoin is a 0 to 1 invention. Toxic Bitcoiners wear their laser eyes because they know there's no way to further decentralization by any other means than proof of work, and that means Bitcoin. While it can be worthwhile to learn how other shitcoins consensus works, it can't be ignored that they are fatally flawed compared to Bitcoin. There won't be another bootstrap decentralized blockchain that can serve as a money for the world ever. This is what we tell you guys every single day. The immaculate conception of Bitcoin is the 0 to 1 invention that we are doing here, Bitcoin. I've said it before Bitcoin had a price, it had value. It was traded amongst people as, as a collectible. It went through the stages of money: collectible, store of value, means of exchange, and unit of account. Every shitcoin since the creation of Bitcoin, as I say all the time, is designed to steal your Bitcoin, but furthermore was created with the expectation of a price. There's only one that is different, and this is Bitcoin. And when you understand this game, when you understand the monetary ethics, the Austrian economics behind this, The best money will win. And as we say all the time, you know, Gresham's law, hey, if you want to dump your shit coins, aka your dollars, on the legacy Fed system for your Bitcoin, by all means. But if you're playing in the shitcoin market just trying to get more Bitcoin, you're a scammer. Everyone's a scammer, and shitcoins are designed to take your Bitcoin. Anyways, additionally, prominent Bitcoin traders removed their laser eyes and given up on the idea of laser rate to 100K. And this signals not only a confidence in the Bitcoin price, but in Bitcoin overall. You may align with Bitcoin maximalist viewpoints, but you fall short of being a toxic Bitcoiner since you aren't keeping your laser's eye on, you aren't keeping your eyes on the prize, knowing that the value of Bitcoin is bound to continue growing over time. Besides, turning your laser eyes on and off further compares Bitcoin to the equity markets and its bull and bear cycles. But again, Bitcoin is not equity. It is not a trade. It is a once in a lifetime monetary revolution for the world. As we say right here, Bitcoin, Gandalf says, and we say it all the time, Bitcoin is not an investment. Bitcoin is savings technology. Save yourself from these high level parasites and these monetary demons that are stealing from you and your future generations. The 21 million hard cap is why we are all here, because I no longer want to hold money or a currency that is being debased by a small cabal of central bankers and their like. So as Bitcoin Gandalf says, Bitcoin is not an investment. Bitcoin is a savings vehicle, a savings technology. Do not take your eyes off the time chain. When you store the value of your hard work, your energy, your life force in Bitcoin, then you will finally be financially free. Do not wait for the bottoms that you will likely miss time. Follow the advice I give my daughter and digitally save in Bitcoin. I say this all the time, guys. Provide the value, save in Bitcoin, and go live your life. This is the promise of Bitcoin, and we give you the receipts all the time. You do not have to become a complex financial advisor to maintain your wealth into the future. Save in Bitcoin, opt out, provide the value, find Bitcoin Zen, and give the free market, give the people around you something of value that you can be proud of, something you can build. Hashtag I am building. Hold on, let me get it for you guys.
I am building.
Anyways, you can learn without buying and selling. Hey, if you want to mint an NFT, how to implement it on Bitcoin, what you do not need to buy to learn. Learn by building, not giving away your sats. There's only one decentralized blockchain with the greatest network effects to be money. And Bitcoiners know this. And as Saylor says, Laser's Eyes proclaim a technology to guarantee the human rights of life, liberty, and property. Laser Eyes channel action even as they protect from dilutive distraction. Laser Eyes signal intent to make Bitcoin an instrument of economic empowerment. And this is what I believe. This is why I've dedicated my whole life to Bitcoin, because I truly believe Bitcoin is freedom. I truly believe that Bitcoin will help humanity. And this is why I've dedicated every single day of my life now to spread that signal and help people opt out of the madness. Anyways, again, doubling down on the idea of fix the money, fix the world. We got this meme by Safety and Amos, and you know I'm a meme, in-house memer, and Safety and Amos goes, do you need a blockchain? This handy printout and keep guide is all you need to decide. Do you need digital cash? No, then you don't need a blockchain. And if you do need digital cash, then use Bitcoin, the only blockchain that works. So, the only purpose for the most inefficient database ever created is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just a database. It's a zombie of technologies mashed together, and this is why it works. This is why it's unstoppable. Do not fall for the meme of, oh, my blockchain is more efficient. My blockchain will revolutionize the whatever world. It is an inefficient database. If you need an efficient database, go run an SQL. Anyways, I really want to double down on this one right here, Nico. I don't know if we're going too long, but I have it in here on my meme board.
What's the second best? There is no second best.
And everyone's heard this, but I really like how Will added this part. While Saylor's quote is famous, it's done a disservice to almost Bitcoiners. They need to hear the full quote. Which one is the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. And what's the second best? There is no second best. There is no second best crypto asset. There is a crypto asset, and it's called Bitcoin. There is only one. There is Bitcoin, and there is shitcoins. Don't get confused. There are no other crypto assets. There are only blockchains that can reliably enforce decentralized digital property rights, aka Bitcoin. And the ends don't justify the means. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't provide liquidity to altcoins for the sake of buying more Bitcoin, and stop trying to time the bottom. Stack sats, stay humble, ascend towards a hyper Bitcoinized future, and embrace toxic Bitcoin maximalists. Oh my goodness. Anyways, guys, I say this all the time, and I want to double down. Shouts out to my buddy, Ayu Dieter Bob, one of the most toxic Bitcoiners. And he said it one day to me best. He's like, when I realized that when I was trading shitcoins and I was providing liquidity for scams is when I stopped doing it. When I had that realization that I am basically a scammer and I am enabling scammers to scam unsuspecting retail. Guys, we are really in a monetary revolution. And if we really want to change the world, then we are going to have to be a shining example of what it means to be a Bitcoiner. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you what I am doing. Hey, does it mean I might have less sats than I would if I was a scamming people and dumping shitcoins and trading shitcoins? Probably. But I think that humbling myself and realizing that there's nothing more noble than to push Bitcoin, push the sound money gospel, and continue to educate people to stay away from shitcoins is the best thing that I can be doing. So, Will, I love this article. I agree with you. Don't trade Bitcoin. Don't trade shitcoins for more Bitcoin because you are scamming people out there. And I'm not here to, give a moral view on all this. Trading isn't immoral, but if you understand what Bitcoiners understand and you're dumping shitcoins that have no use case on unsuspecting people as with the idea that, oh, there's something new here and you're pumping it on Twitter and, you're doing all this, I like Bitcoin, here's my shitcoin. Look at yourself in the mirror, man, and realize that you're making us all look bad and you're not helping the cause of hyper-Bitcoinization into the future. And if we really believe what we believe, then we got to put it upon ourselves to push the right message and be an example of what it means to be a Bitcoiner. I hate to say we only have one chance because I'm sure humans will figure it out again, but we have this chance as a Bitcoiner. And the powers that be are coming after us. And I think that we need to really look in the mirror and acknowledge whether you are pushing the revolution forward or you are hampering it. And I believe what I do and what Nico does all the time of just being a shining example of a optimistic, happy Bitcoiner living their best life and pushing the sound money gospel. I think that this is the best beacon of hope that we can have. And people will look at us and be like, look, I want what they have. And how did they get there? Bitcoin. Find Bitcoin Zen, provide value to your fellow man, and go live life. And this is what Bitcoin offers to you guys. I really believe this, and I hope you guys take that away. And maybe I can help one person realize that by shitcoin trading, they're literally hurting people. They're taking people's life savings and life's hopes, and you are freaking destroying people's lives. And like Nico got heated with Alex Mashinsky this week, and it's the same idea, guys. They are fucking it all up for us, and they're giving cover for these legacy medias to dunk on us Bitcoiners and make us all look bad, and furthermore push regulations which will stop and hamper Bitcoin adoption. Anyways, Nico, rant done.
Man, you fucking slayed it. I think it just comes down. I think you said everything that needed to be said. I think it just comes down to this, right? It comes down to like a moral conundrum. It comes down to integrity. It comes down to principles, right? I know that shitcoins are worthless. Like I know that Ethereum is worthless. I know that a lot of these shitcoins, they're not going to push the revolution that we aspire to, right? Which is the separation of money and state, right? And even if you win in those trades, which I'm sure a lot of you can because you've been in this space for a while, maybe, you have to understand that there's a losing side on the other side of that trade, right? So it's a moral argument. If you do want more Bitcoin, what we advocate for, dude, mine fiat harder, find alternative sources of income, right? Mine that fiat, put it into Bitcoin. If you're going to trade shit coins, look, we're libertarians at heart. Like Opti said it, right? We're not going to tell you what to do with your money like a lot of other people. You can do whatever you want, right? But understand that you are willingly and knowingly buying something that you know has no value in the hopes of selling it to someone else to benefit yourself, right? And that's really a moral issue. That really comes down to the individual. That really comes down to you. And it's a question that you have to ask yourself, right? We can only just kind of present and give our perspective, but it really comes down to you on what you feel, you could do what's best. I can't sleep personally if I held a shitcoin, even on an exchange, and in the hopes of dumping that later. I couldn't sleep. I don't think I'd be able to do the show as authentically and as I do it now. I think it would be a fucking lie, right? So again, that's our perspective. You're free to do what you would like, but at the end of the day, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing if you're trading shitcoins? You're buying something that has no value, has no future, and in the hopes of selling it to someone else, right? So that you could accumulate more Bitcoin. And, some of you could say, yeah, that's fine. I want more Bitcoin no matter what it takes. And some of you, are going to perhaps look at it with a little bit more integrity and say, I don't want to be a part of that. But it doesn't mean that you can't have more Bitcoin. Just, dude, figure out ways to do it the right way, which is work your ass off, proof of work, try to find ways to, mine more fiat. There's so many ways in the days of the internet, and it falls onto you, man. So Opti, I think that was a beautiful article, man. And I think it really comes down to people's own individual thoughts on morality, on principles, on integrity, and what they want to get out of this. And if someone's like, dude, like, I don't see anything wrong with that, man, that's a personal decision and all the power to you, but that's not something that we would personally advocate for on Simply Bitcoin. But anyways, fucking killed it, bro. Let's get to the meme review.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by CipherSafe. Don't be that person that loses their Bitcoin seed due to fire damage, water damage, dog attacks. Back up your generational Bitcoin wealth on steel. And there's no better place to do it than the Cypher Grid by CipherSafe. And now check out their new Bitcoin art, the Bitcoin Rulux triangle, only on cyphersafe.io.
All right, guys. In this monetary war, tweets are the bullets and memes are the artillery. And I say it all the time. I really believe that you guys out there spreading the signal, getting the calls to action to people, and also making them entertaining so that they capture people's attentions is one of the most important things out here. We need these beautiful sound bites. We need the humor to get through people's brains. I say it all the time. If you tell people the truth and you don't make them laugh, they will kill you. Anyways, guys, remember, drop your meme review score in the chat so that we can cover it. But before I get into it, we got these beautiful memes, guys, and let's just get into it. Anyway, this one starts by @memingBitcoin and Bitcoin price explained. I really love this meme because if you've been around for a cycle or two, you know this to be true. But I love how they made it a roller coaster and a loop, because I never really thought of it like this, but it really does work like this. Maybe they could have backdated it a little bit so that you guys could see the continuation. But anyways, the first loop 60K, the next loop 600,000, and the final big one. It's not the final one, but at least the final one in this meme is 6 milli per coin. Let's go. All right, this next one, shouts out to Wine. I really love this. I know you guys saw these videos going on Twitter, but I loved Wine's take on this. Plebs coin joining together. If you know how coin joins work, he should have put like the little, 0.1s or 1 mils and all that good stuff in there, but I think that was a good visual. Anyways, this next one is by our boy Selly. He's been in the memes the last few days, but this one really hit me. And he goes, there's got to be a democracy in here somewhere. And it's a guy shoveling money, and the money pile says campaign money. Oof. I think Nico talks about this all the time on the news section. This next one, shouts out to Copernicus. I see you, bro. I know you're trying to get some memes on here. You need to pull it back a little bit. This one was good enough, though. And he goes, true story. Me dropping my shitcoin bags after I finally understand what Bitcoin is. It's a cat on a toilet for people in the spaces. Anyways, this next one is RDBTC, and he goes, the Fed, UN Ponzi. And we got the the meme of the two trails verging at the fork, except there is no happy sky. It's just all stormy skies and wreck going both ways, and the Fed going left, raise rates, cause a global economic downturn, or go right, don't raise rates and cause hyperinflation. Oof, really be feeling like that. Really, we got really in this situation like that. Anyways, this next one, I love Anil's memeries and his memetics on Twitter because he's able to explain complex Bitcoin topics in very, very simple pictures. And he goes, either you understand the problem that Bitcoin solves or you will forever be trapped in hypocrisy. And we got a ASIC plugged into electricity and it says gives 8 billion people monetary sovereignty. And then we got a smartphone plugged into electricity used for criticizing Bitcoin's electricity use. It really feels like that, people hating on capitalism using beautiful capitalist tools and, using energy to tell us not to use energy, doubling down, use more energy. Energy is good. I love energy. I will not go back to the Stone Ages.
Yeah, I actually tweeted this out and it did pretty well yesterday. And I was basically making the case, like the tragedy of all this is that capitalism and the free market will get blamed for central planning.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it fucking sucks. And that's the reality of it, right? It's always the scapegoat. It's like, dude, look, as long as there's central bank, right, they get to dictate, the direction of the economy, right? Like that isn't the free market, bro. Like, come on now. But unfortunately, most people think like it's like, no, we live in a capitalistic society, and I find that a little bit tragic, and it is what it is. I don't know.
We will be the scapegoats. We will.
I don't know. I don't know if Bitcoin fixes that, but anyway. So
that's a good meme review score.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna.
All you want.
I'm just gonna leave them up there. So for this, I'm gonna give it. So this is my old tripod to my camera, which still overheats because I haven't updated the software like Opti. And I'm going to give it my new, which I'm currently using. It's so small. Like, look how much thinner that is. Look how much thicker this is. And this makes my life a lot easier for traveling. I just felt like I had that. That's my score. I'm going all out on the score today. Opti, what do you give those memes?
All right. Well, I have given these stickers individually, but now I'm giving the baggie of BitMeg stickers that she gave me. You can see how thick there it is. There's a grip of them. So, hey.
Boom.
Baggie of stickers. Sack of stickers.
Sack of stickers.
All right, guys, we got some. We already got some in here, Nico. So I'll get them going.
Rave Elevator says, I give the memes one roll of USD toilet paper. Very nice. Very nice. I give those memes Chrissy's dirty prison panties. Opti would know about that. Oh God. All right, moving on. No, I think that's it. Whole Hodl Coin says, I give those memes Christine Lagarde shitty gutter weed. Christine Lagarde. Man, that max bid is so funny. I give those memes Christine's Okay, Andres, I give those memes a photo booth picture of Opti and Lagarde on their first date. Very, very, very nice. I now, like I said this joke, I'm starting to regret it because like everyone's just eating it up. Anyways, all right, we got a soft release today. Let's know before I get to that, guys. Make sure to join Simply Bitcoin's Telegram group. You go to www.t.me/the Simply Bitcoin channel. You can also go to Simply Bitcoin Unfiltered, www.simplybitcoin.news. It's the written version of this show. If you want to give us a meme review to score, you have to link it in the Telegram channel. You go to www.t.me/the Simply Bitcoin channel. Anyways, there was a software release today. Let's check it out.
Bitcoin software release.
Oh, I beat you to it, Opti.
Did you? All right.
Oh, go for it. Go for it.
All right, guys. Well, today's software release is Fountain version 0.5.1. It's got autoplay Q, Apple CarPlay. I don't know what OPML import is, and performance upgrade. I know you guys are on Fountain, so go upgrade your apps so that we can continue to spread the value for value economy. Amazing. Anyways, guys, we are on Apple. We are on Spotify. We are on Anchor. And we are definitely on Fountain. If you love what we're doing, stream us some sats. If you think we are giving you guys value and you want us to continue to do this, well, actually, we're going to continue to do it anyways. So, but stream us sats, stream us sats.
Oh yeah, man. No, it really helps us out, guys. The value for value economy. And also you can write your message on there and it really, really motivates us and really like it's
And the clips.
I can't say it enough, man. I love what you guys do. Your messages on Fountain are so inspiring. We really, really appreciate it. We're going to do it. So we're going to start pulling up some of those messages so that we can read them on the show and show a little bit more appreciation. We're still figuring it out on the back end. Bear with us. I also want to give a shout out to our awesome clothing sponsor. Opti and I wear the hoodies and the clothing every single day. This is a decentralized corpse. I'm wearing the black version of Opti's. Decentralized Corpse by representltd.com. You can take advantage of the promo code down below to get 10% off representltd.com. They make awesome merch. You guys don't want to miss it. Anyways, Opti, why don't you close out the show, brother?
Thank you for coming. If you like what we did, like, subscribe, share. We appreciate all the support, guys. And, we love you guys, and we'll see you Wednesday. But also, if you want to continue the convo, come hang out with me in Twitter Spaces. We will be hanging out there for the next, 45 minutes or so. And we will be coming live from the mining conference this week. So me and Nico are going to be hanging out in person this week. I'm real excited for this one. Anyways, let's roll this one out. Do I get the graphics or do you get this, Nico?
I got it.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best.